All right, guys, so welcome back to Joe's RC Corner, and today we're going to be back on the Cruzer. We got a little bit of work here to do on the plane. Basically, we're going to be doing a lot of cleanup as well. I made a mess recently, and back to cleanup so I can work here comfortably again. So stay tuned, guys, and I'll show you what we're going to work on. All right, guys, so like I said, we're going to be back on the Cricket here. We got some work. I've already gotten started here. We went ahead and we're removing almost everything in the interior here. So all the center panels, we got the seats out already because we're going to have to start routing these wires through the plug and down, and also the pitot tube stuff all needs to go down and get into the front part of the airplane. Also wanted to make it a little bit easier to get to the switches back behind everything, and I'm actually debating redoing everything, guys. Not extremely happy with how things have been laying out inside the under the panel here. I mean, I've got a rat's nest in here and I'm not really happy about it. I'm actually thinking about adding some more terminal blocks here, like this here, but I want to add a plate, an L angle that goes from here to here, and then I can mount them on the L angle here. That way I can just go ahead and run wires directly to it, and go from there and kind of get that all situated. So not extremely happy with how this is coming out so far. I mean, this is just a mess. So we need to get that cleaned up. We need to finish up back down under here. Then we need to get the wiring down from the wings through and up into the back panel as well. Once that's all done, then we can start looking at things. I'm also looking at possibly putting in some access panels right back here on both sides. Because we do have the servos that have to go back there at some point soon, and having an access panel there will make things a little bit easier to access and do things. So I know this probably should have been done way before I closed all of this up, but well, I wasn't originally going to put an autopilot in, and so I decided yes I am. So now I need to go back and do the job correctly. I also need to get the wiring routed through here for the headsets, which I'm going to be mounting my headset plugs right back on under here, out of the way, run my wires right to it, and call her done. But we need to get that all started. So I also need to add the new parts for the seat belts, the extenders that come from Viking here, which get mounted, I'm guessing, to these parts down here, like so. And that'll give me my the extension that might be needed. I'm not sure if I really need them, but we're going to take a look, see, and if I do need them, I will use them. If not, I won't. But that one I might use because that might make things a little bit easier on that side, but we'll see. I don't know. We're not at that stage yet, so we're just going to keep moving. So we're going to take all of this out right here, now that we got the seats out. And then we're going to start cleaning up and taking a look at some of my wiring setup here and try to fix some of it. But next we're going to run the wires down through on the side here. And I'm not going to hide them inside those tubes. I'm just going to run them down and then down through a grommet. And we're going to attach them to the back side of the beams here. Keep things easy. Keep things nice and easy to get to when we need to. So like I said, probably run them right down along inside here. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see. So right down along inside here, we're going to run the wires down and down through the floor right back down here. So that's the plan. We're going to go ahead and start cleaning up first. Got to get the bench cleaned up. Get this area cleaned up, pick up any FOD on the ground, make sure that's all picked up as well, and then might even try to start working on some of this, try to get that wiring done so I can get that charger plugged into those batteries so that they can be maintained a little bit better, because I'm not sure how well they're going to last just sitting there. So we need to get that done. Because Dave Tillema is coming out with the Texas Cruzer, he's going to be stopping by here in Las Cruces, which would be great. Show him the plane. We'll get him some fuel. If he needs a place to stay, then he can come stay at my house, and take him out for some Mexican food here, and get him topped off with fuel before he heads out. So that's the plan. We'll try to get some of this stuff done today, and may even take the plane out and give her a little wash. Don't know yet. We'll see. Anyways, let's get to work, guys. Okay guys, so like I said, we're going to work on the fuel cart. So on the fuel cart here, we got pretty much everything plumbing wise is completed here. So now we're working on the electricals, and as I mentioned previously, I'm not sure if you remember, but we're running off of 2 battery packs here. They're 35 amp hours, so that's 70 amp hours, more than enough power. We have some 16 gauge wire we're going to run between the two, connect them in parallel, and that's going to give me the 65 or 70 amp hours. And then we're going to also run from this end over to a charging port right here. That way we can charge these batteries on a battery tender while it's just sitting here. This area over here is just going to be storage. I do have some hooks in here, so we're going to put a strap across as well, just to keep them from bouncing around too much. So we'll go ahead and do that. So that's what we're going to be working on here, guys. We're going to get this all wired up, and we are then going to use a fuse here, because the fuse is going to go between the batteries, then the output up to the pump, because I want to run that 30 amp fuse, which is the recommended by that pump, 35 amp. So that'll give me my fuse for the power going in. So if I overamp, it's going to blow that fuse. We'll then we're going to change up some of the plugs here on this, and that way we can just use these Anderson pole plugs out here. And to get the wires out, we're just going to use a rubber grommet down in the bottom, or maybe a snap ring, probably just a rubber grommet. Put a grommet down here, run the wires up to the power, or to the thing, the pump. And then we're going to run a ground, which is right here, guys. And we're going to run that ground down and ground it to the frame here as well. So that way the frame is, everything is grounded down to the frame. Then we're also going to run a ground wire, which is this right over here. This ground wire is going to be my clip to the airplane to ground it. Now I've also thought about putting maybe a wire off one of these ports here, and just have that wire kind of laying on the ground. That'll be my ground whisker, so that way when I'm pumping, the whole trailer is also ground. So that's kind of the plan, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started on this and get this wired up and go from there. So stay tuned, and let's get to work, guys. Okay, guys, so welcome back, and we are done with the fuel card. Everything is working and functioning properly. It's all wired up. Everything is now grounded as well, so that's always good. The tank itself is actually grounded through the wood and through that bolt to the frame. The ground for this, of course, we have the positive, negative, and a ground separate. All of those go through this black wire right here, and they go into the box. We'll open this up. This is the battery box. We'll get that out of the way. Okay, so it comes in down over here, runs across, goes through a, comes along over here and runs through a 30 amp fuse, which then goes to both of the batteries because they're running in parallel. And then we have also a lead coming off and going to the plug over here, which is my charge port. and then all the negatives. So you have the ground itself. So the negative from here is going down to the ground. And then there's a separate ground for the pump itself, which also is ground into the same place over here. So everything is grounded to the frame. Then we also have a ground here, this ground cable. Now this ground cable is then connected to the frame here, and that is what I will ground the aircraft to the whole setup here. I am probably going to add one more wire that's kind of a dangly wire on the frame, which is going to always touch ground as well. So that'll always give it the path of least resistance for the electrical, so there's no chance of any sparking anywhere in this system. So that is all done and completed. I do have to change my plugs on my charger, but other than that, that fits right on here. Closes up. And that is all done. So we now have the fuel pump running, and we'll do a quick test here. I'll show you. So this part comes out right here. And now the pump works. So that is all functioning nicely. So fuel pump is done. We're not going to go get fuel in this yet because I don't want the fuel sitting around. So we'll fill this up another day. But that part is now completed. Maybe tomorrow my plan will be to stop at the store, get a whiteboard, and we're going to put that up here, and I'm going to go step by step on what things I need to finish. And then I'm going to start checking those things off the list as we go. Try to stay motivated and try to keep things working. So, but anyways, fuel card's done. Pretty simple. I'm actually thinking about replacing this because I prefer to maybe have a wheel set up for that so I can easily move this around. Because when you have 100 pounds of or 100 gallons of fuel in here, that's actually going to be pretty darn heavy. So we don't want to try to lug this around, lifting up the nose there. So we may find a wheeled one for that. But other than that, guys, this is done. We're ready to go here. I was thinking about bringing it back home because I have a box that I want to put on here, but I want to measure, make sure it's going to fit before I bother doing that. Maybe tomorrow we'll get back a little bit on the plane after we put together the list of everything I need to do. So that's where we are, guys. That's all I have for today. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button if you like what you're seeing. And as I mentioned, starting to get a little bit discouraged, guys, on the previous video I mentioned, but we're still moving. We're still getting there. We're just going to be a little bit slower going. I want to take some breaks in between. I don't want to feel like this is a second job. I was enjoying it a lot more in the beginning, of course, but now we're getting close and things starting to slow down. Not seeing a lot of progress. That's that time where you don't see a lot of progress and you kind of just need to keep on pushing, which I'm going to do, but we're going to keep pushing and get it done. So anyways, hit the subscribe button, guys, if you like what you're seeing. If you want to help support the channel, please do. Visit the Teespring store down below, and catch you guys on the next video. Bye now.